To learn how to use a camera is very easy and is very fast. And one must learn, see how many film amateurs are all over the world. So to be a little bit better than them, that's all. And after that, one must have ideas. So, and I think it's wrong, even wrong, to get models and to try to copy models or to get aesthetic frames and to put, so each one must be himself. That's, I think, is the main thing.
How did you get started in cinema? What was the first thing that...
Well, I have started in a very funny way. My father was rich and I was a bad boy, not doing anything, you know. So because I was what they call today a playboy, it's funny to be at my age, I was a playboy. And so where you go, just in the world of the show, and so theater and movie, etc. And after the death of my father, we get broken very easily, also because I spend a lot of money, so I have to earn some money and I have to do something. And because that was the world who I know very well, so I was accepted there and I started to work there.
You said once that that when I asked you who were the filmmakers in the past who had the most inspired you or made you like the cinema, and you said Murnau.
Yeah.
I wonder if you might elaborate. They've seen 2 films by Murnau here, or 3 films, Nosferatu, Last Laugh, Le Dernier des Hommes, and The Sunrise, Laura.
Laura. Well,
so did you elaborate? What about Murnau that you particularly liked?
But I was tremendously impressed by him. You know, that was really the new cinema coming up. Because in general, well, even if you get the Hollywood production at the time, Murnau, like Van Dyke or King Vidor, they were quite different. Huh? You know, it's a question of geometry, you know? Geometry, purely geometry, you know? You get somebody say, well, you say that, and when you arrive at that word, you turn suddenly, and you say those 4 other words, and after that you look at the wall, you know? That is the only way to get the material in hand, because, and that's the reason why the professional actors are very unhappy with me. Very.
Because you do say things like that?
Yes. It's purely geometry, you see, it's no more than that.
You write the script right on the set. Doesn't it take a long time for the actor to learn the script and then...
Well, yes, a little bit, but somebody, or we write down the thing here and there, somebody screaming, yelling, saying things.
You don't really give them time to learn it anyway, do you?
No, because, you know, what I am afraid, and I'm very serious on that, if you give a dialogue to an actor, immediately the first thing of an actor, a real actor, is to see how I can interpret that thing. So it's him, it's not anymore my character, you see, and if you allow him to do that, you have to make a tremendous effort to demolish that thing, to go again. So if with the improvisation they have,
what you want.
Yeah, so with the improvisation it's no chance for them to build ideas.
You start off with a treatment film, and then does someone finance, or I don't understand anything about finance?
Well, I don't know why, but I have always found the money to do the thing. You know, the first way to be financed is to make debts. So you start with the debts, and after somebody will provide something, you know, that was a very simple philosophy.
Is that the reason why you use non-professional? Is it Louis XIV or Louis Quinze? Louis XIV. Because I remember when you were here the last time, you said that the character of Louis himself was just someone you knew, you know, you just sort of...
Well, I found a man, the main thing for the Louis XIV was to find somebody very short and very strong. So you have not a tremendous choice. For example, now I made a film on Cosimo de' Medici, you know, in the Italian Renaissance. So it's the beginning of the modern economy, it's the beginning of the banking, it's the beginning of our modern world. And there are a couple of portraits of Cosimo de' Medici, and he's so typical, so particular. He had such a nose, who is absolutely incredible, very difficult to find. So I searched for a nose, I didn't search for Cosimo de' Medici, and finally I found that nose in a nightclub. Somebody, those, not he sell the tickets, but he control the tickets at the door. And he has the nose, so I pick up him, and he has played Cosimo de' Medici. And he's very good. Yes, I have some people around me who they search for, so I give them very precise instruction. They brought those people to me, and so I say, well, that's as really the nose I need, and I go on like that.
But this ticket taker...
Never made a test in my life.
This ticket taker, you had no idea whether or not he could act, but then you said once you don't really require...
Listen, no, listen. You can make a design moving. You can imagine how you cannot make a man moving. So it's a question of a little bit of passion and technique. That's no more than that. Surely you must get advantage also of the wrong things, If you want to idealize the character in such a way, well, it's impossible. Then I use what I have in my hands.
How do you make the man move and perform when perhaps he has no talent to say the lines? That you're not worried about. I mean, he has no talent to perform as an actor would perform.
No.
What are some of the devices that you would use to make him move and create what you want?
To move. You say, well, you come from here, you go there. When you are there, you turn, you go there, you do that. That's purely physical movement.
Are you speaking to him while the camera's taking the film?
No.
No, you're not.
No, because you get too confused. But I'll tell him, you put with the sign all over, and he knows where to go. His first position, second position, third position, third. But that's all. Well, I have to spend a little time with each one of those main characters, just to invite them for dinner or lunch and to be with them and talk. So I realize what they are the usual movement that they do. See, so I must know well them. So you let them repeat what they do in general in life, and they feel after the first shock, they feel so at ease because they move always the muscles they have the habit of moving in real life, but they don't know, So they say, well, it's so simple, and they go on, and they are excited.
So you give them things to do all
Yes,
the time.
all the time.
But then your films, people talk a lot. There is a problem with getting the dialogue out.
Well, they learn the dialogue, and what they don't learn, we can add it, you hear a line, there another line, written somewhere, and so it's...
But it's the interpretation of that dialogue. I mean, generally people...
It's no interpretation. Because, well, it's another kind of thing. It all depends on the kind of film that you make. If it's a show, if it's theater, you must interpret the thing. You must underline the thing. You must give any sort of significance to the thing. When you do the filming, you do that with the camera. And so that's sufficient that somebody goes ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba and says the things.
You mean they say the words, but they don't...
No, they say the words. We redubbed with other voice later on.
You dubbed the other voice later?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What would you say the most important thing about directing is? I mean, well, first of all, I want to know how you learn directing, and then I want to know how you direct, and then thirdly, what is the most important thing? And those take...
I don't know, I learned directing because I never was the assistant of anybody, and so I start. So knowing, well, a little bit about about the job. So I've done some cutting, I've done some dubbing, I've done that's the reason why I hate so much the script, because I've done a lot of scripts for third people, you know. So, and knowing the thing, but you have to start and go.
When you're on the set and you're directing a scene, what do you think your job is there? What are you to get?
To control everything, that's all. It's very simple, to have the control and to be aware of everything. That's all. If you combine properly the movement of the so-called actors and the movement of the camera, you have solved the problem.
You told me once before that the seed of Voyage in Italy came from seeing these bodies, the petrification of the bodies at Herculaneum.
Yeah.
Could you speak about what that represented for you and what it made you think so that you began to develop this story?
But you see, I was in Pompeii when the man who was making the research, he found a house called, and the house was called the House of Julia Felice. Julia is a name, and Felice means happy, the happy Julia. And that's a very strange story, because he found that house digging, and he found in that house the symbol of Isis, the goddess, the Egyptian goddess. And it was the only house at that moment discovered in Pompeii with Isis images. And 2-3 years, one thing he knows, that the girl, she has very round, beautiful arm, because you know the bracelet that were put here. So the bracelet that he found at home of that girl, of that woman, give exactly the shape of the arm of the girl, you know. So, and he was very seduced by the girl, because the house was damaged by an earthquake. So in the purpose to rebuild the house, which is one of the most beautiful houses in Pompeii, she built in the corner of the house a little bath, very luxurious little bath, and a place where the people, they were drinking and playing the games, l'idée, what do you call it? Dice and things like that. So he admired a great deal that girl with those round, beautiful arms. And one day he was called, because, see, the ashes of the Vesuvium coming down was like snow, you know, to cover the whole thing. And the bodies consumed inside left an empty space. So when you are working, you hear the sound of something empty. So they made a little hole and they put inside the, what you call the
plaster.
Yes, plaster. And they get the form of the body. So they found the form of a body, of a woman, of a man, and of a mule. And that girl, she has in her, one of her arm, a package with some jewel and a little statue of Isis. So you recognize Julia Felice, you know? So the tremendous things, life is, well, is there all the time. He's another human being, but his life is going on, you know? It seems to me so extraordinary. And we are living on those kind of things, in Italy especially. For example, my home is, I have the garden on top of the catacomb of San Sebastiano. And you have no idea, the ashes of the saints are good, they are for the soil, you know. We grow cabbage like that, high like that, tremendous, you know. But he's a saint too, you know, he's a cabbage and saint in the meantime, so. Yeah?
So the idea that comes out of this for you was that our life today and is somehow a prolongation.
Well, a little bit like that, and was also the moment that I start to know a little bit more directly the so-called Anglo-Saxon world, you know, is completely different in behavior, in thinking, in feeling from us. So I think it was a good comparison to put two English people inside Italy to get inherited the house in Italy. Everything is shocking, you know, for them. The main thing was hygiene or things like that, and there they are thinking in terms of spaghetti or bodies and things like that. So that seems so obvious to have.
This is why the main character, Joyce, comes to take his inheritance from Homer?
Exactly.
Quite humorous thing. But the backgrounds, then, really were constantly reflecting this theme.
Well, surely, because the theme was the contrast between that English couple and the reality of Italy, you know. Always shocking, you know.
In spite of the fact that the English are so, and the Anglo-Saxon world is so different from the Italian, it is finally the Italian heritage, isn't it, that brings them together at the end. There's something about that landscape.
I don't know if the feeling, or at least the reason of the scene was that all the Italians, they were short and they were very tall. And English is very tall, and poor Sanders was very, very tall, you know? So there was those two pinnacles walking in a crowd of short people. And when the miracle started there, everybody fell in his own needs. They are completely naked. What to do? So they grabbed to each other. You know, that's...
Which produces, in a sense, a miracle for them, though.
Well, it's not a real miracle, but, you know, they felt so suddenly... evident to everybody, you know. It's a moment of embarrassment, no more than that.
The film represents, in the way you use the camera, the first time that you are using really long traveling shots. Could you tell about how you came at using those shots?
Well, because I think it's important to find a language the most possible clear and clean. See, in general, and we know very well that was at the time, especially, but even now, a la mode to do film completely in another way. You know, more the camera was crazy or unexpected, that was the good thing. But seems to me that one gets tremendously confused. You don't understand where you are, who is talking to whom, you know. It's very confusing.
It's cutting all the time.
All the time, so. And I don't like those morceaux de bravoure, what you can say, you know, that ability, and I thought that was very important to go to a very straight, very simple language. A very straight language is more understandable, I think.
Also, you seem to remain in mostly in medium shot with your figures.
Yes, because it's a way not to seduce, you know, to remain in the observation of the facts. It's important to see somebody and to see what is around him, because it's always that depth gives the things. You know,
that the depth gives.
Gives the real measure of a man.
This also enabled you to unite the people with the setting, however, which is something that other films...
Well, but a set is very important, you know, because it's always all the ingredients one must use. But our feeling, everyday feelings, what they are. We got out, it's a good weather outside, and we feel happy because the air is good, and so the light is like, we like the light. No, we are influenced by those kind of things all the time. And why not to try to use that in film? I don't know if I have achieved, but that's at least what I try to do, and I am very stubborn. I continue to do those kind of things.
To unite the people with what's around them.
Yeah, it also makes the landscape almost a character. I mean, in the importance.
Surely, but the landscape is a character.
Yeah.
Is a character. Think, you go back home, and today you go back home with a mood. Tomorrow you will go back home with another mood. And a great deal is influenced by the weather outside, by surely also the accident that you have in your life every day, you know, but that sort of thing, if you are very depressed and the atmosphere outside is a very good atmosphere, you get a little bit relieved. It's not true? And that's a thing that we have all the time. So if you want to describe a character, you must put all those kind of things. If you want the character more complex.
But for your films, the background does more, especially in Voyage, than describe the mood of the character. It comments.
Well, but surely it comments also because there is the contrast. You see, for example, those two people, they don't want to have children because their own view, economical view of life, prevent them from having children. And you see around all those women with the abdomen like that. So it's a different way of seeing life, you know, or approaching life.
So it's almost making a criticism of the couple.
It's not a criticism, it's an analysis, I think.
Why do you say you're interested in education?
Because I am interested in education. I don't know. You know, that happened when a morning get up and it's crazy suddenly, and that's what happened to me. And I think we know so little. At least I feel that I know very, very little, and I'm very curious. And so I want to know. I don't want to be bored in life. You know, it's my main purpose. And I thought it was very boring in making normal film. So I turned to do those kind of things.
What about normal films bored you?
I don't know, because I made those normal films for a few years, and after, well, it was an experience made, you see. And what you do, you continue always to repeat the same kind of thing, you know. It's,
how does this differ from a normal film in the kind of films you said that you make, which are normal?
But that's an historical essay, so it's the curiosity to go, to research, to found, to put together things, etc. It's completely another kind of procedure. In a film, you must invent things. Here you have to collect things. It's a completely different approach. I don't want to say teaching historical fact or moral. I don't want to teach any moral to anybody, because I think that each one of us must be free to found his own moral. But to found his own moral, he must base that in a certain kind of knowledge. And I think that today we are so confused by a lot of slogans, and we think that those slogans is the truth and is the knowledge. And the slogan is always only a slogan. You know, I just finished a film on Socrates, and Socrates said to us in a certain moment of the dialogue, you know, perhaps the dialogue of Plato, he says a thing which is so clear. He says, the world is full of opinion and completely empty of knowledge. Now we are full of opinion and we have no knowledge. So I think it's wise, at least that some fool try to reach the knowledge or try to put together a certain kind of knowledge. Because otherwise we live always on opinions, and the opinion is something that is good today and tomorrow is gone completely.
How does this film differ in its plot, in your mind, from a normal film?
A normal film is based on invention. That's completely another kind of thing. If you have Errol Flynn playing the Louis XIV, you must give something to Errol Flynn. So he must win battle, he must have a duel every 2 scenes. When he gets dressed, he must have a duel with the tailor. You know, it's completely another kind of thing. How many things were said about neorealism. It's absolutely incredible. And to me,
The neorealism is mainly a moral position. Second is the invention of new technical method in the purpose to make film escaping from the big church of a studio. And nobody underlined that aspect, who is the main aspect.
Going out into the streets, into the location.
Well, to forget, if you don't have a good quality of photography, you care. What is important is what you have to say. No, instead, before it was absolutely maniac. I remember to have one day outdoor in a studio was the moment of the big emotion of the whole studio, and the day of work outside was a truck or a carrosse going in a garden. Was to risk so much and to wait hour till the light come through that, it's absolutely incredible. What is important is what you have to say. If the photography is good, better, but if it's not good, it's the same. The main thing is to say things. You see?
Another thing, though, that is grew out of neorealism was the kind of shot that was taken. Rather than lots of close-ups and lots of cutting, there seemed to be even yours and De Sica's, in Castellani, all of these, where there were more flowing shots, shots on travelings.
Yes, the sequence shots, we call that.
Sequence shots. Mr. Rossellini, we sure want to thank you. And you too, Colin. Return to your British Isles.
It's a pleasure.
How do you like that? We could have a commercial. We have just enough. You missed out on your time.
I look around the Rossellini.
I know. Just keep rolling. That's what I always tell my students is set up something that can finish and then keep rolling and you'll get the best.
You see, perhaps I am a fool, I don't know, but what to do?
No, you're doing it.
You know, in La Rochefoucauld, one of the maxims of La Rochefoucauld is so beautiful. It says, when somebody become older, become more crazy and more wise at the same time.
If you're lucky, you become both.
But I hope. And to save craziness is very important.
Yes.
L'amour et le soleil.
L'amour et le soleil.